They hop around on the screen. We'll find it and play it after the next segment. I sent it to you yesterday. They hop around on screen and do all of this and have all these slick graphics. We're going to get Kony. We're going to invade. We're going to show him. And I told everybody, I said, you watch. They're going to have a bunch of these kangaroo ICC court hearings they've been having. They're going to have those come to fruition in the next few weeks. It's to promote global government, the idea of the UN arresting you anywhere, anytime for thought crime. And they're going to have NATO and U.S. resolutions to invade all of Africa through AFRICOM that is already in place, AFRICOM, just like they have North American military system, NORTHCOM, and CENTCOM, and SOUTHCOM, and all of it, and that they are going to start going in with the dictators, like the dictator of Uganda, who's been involved killing millions, and they're going to start forcing everybody off their land. It's already going on. I mean, it's already admitted the UN is in Uganda murdering people, mercenaries, have license to kill, and just go in and burn villages and shoot everyone. It's on record. And she's not talking about that. She's saying go in with more force and use that as the cover and say that an Africa-wide invasion for natural resources is humanitarian. It is beyond disgusting. It is beyond evil. It is beyond filthy. And less than a week after I start covering that, here is CBS News. By the way, do we have the Angelina Jolie clip? Do we have that one? Yeah. Do we have the Kony thing dancing around about the screenings I sent you yesterday? It was on my list yesterday. We don't need to re-grab it. We had it yesterday. Joseph Kony resolution introduced in the House. House lawmakers Tuesday introduced a resolution supporting efforts to counter the Lord's Resistance Army. Now listen. Hoping to build momentum on created by the arrival of YouTube videos spotlighting the atrocities of the LRC leader, Joseph Kony. So it's a branding. They literally say, here is the new villain. It's the most dumbed-down propaganda. He's like Hitler and bin Laden. They actually said that all over the news and in the video. We've got to get him. He's hurting children. No one's seen him in 5.5 years. He's a perfect boogeyman that can never be caught. You know, why are they going to kill you in North Africa? Kony. Why are they going to kill you in South Africa? Kony. Why are they going to kill you on the Ivory Coast? Kony. Why is the UN here slaughtering you? Kony. In a jungle area not seen for 5.5, 6 years. Most people think he's dead. Listen to the resolution. You can link through and read it. The resolution introduced by Representatives Jim McGovern, Democrat of Mass, and Ed Royce, Republican of California, calls for, among other things, expanding the number of regional forces in Africa to protect civilians. Did you hear that? Expanding the number of regional forces in Africa. That's U.S. bases that are being built all over. The heart is Uganda. Why is the U.S. going to send not just a few hundred, but a few thousand troops now? Oh, to protect people all over Africa. And you go read the resolution, it is a full invasion of every stinking country. Unbelievable. For a guy who we don't even know if he's alive. With the UN on record lining people up and mowing them down, or funding groups to go kill them, and funding dictators to engage in megadeath. And then now you want to know why? Alex, why are you so mad? Only about 5%. You can see that in the likes and dislikes, 6,000 likes, 300 dislikes or whatever on a video, that's got 600,000 views, one version. But to the 5%, they're like, I'm going to get you. I see you in public. You're dead, Jones. You're with Kony. Kony's paying you. Just crazy sophomoric garbage. Drooling idiocy. This is all a PR move to invade Africa, mass slaughter, and to have the ICC arrest hundreds of people. And I've seen Supreme Court justices say, and I've seen them train the Austin police. This is on the news 3 years ago. News 8 Austin showed over 100 Austin police officers being sent to the UN in an exchange program to learn how to arrest people in foreign countries under international arrest warrants, and how to have foreign police come here and arrest us under their laws. Where I live, this is going on. And that's all this is, oh my gosh, the UN cares. When the UN is the most criminal, murderous group with diplomatic immunity, running drugs, slaves, sex slaves, you name it. And the public has gotten so ignorant that when I say the UN is the major white slavery operator worldwide, I get emails saying, don't you care about black slaves? Folks, white slavery means sex slavery. Okay, continuing here, ladies and gentlemen. The resolution introduced by Representative Jim McGovern and Ed Royce calls for, among other things, and I've read the resolution, go read it, expanding the number of regional forces in Africa to protect civilians and placing restrictions on individuals or governments found to be supporting Kony. So now they just say, oh, your government supported a guy that's probably been dead for years. We're going to take your bank accounts. We're not going to let your country trade. This is all about De Beers that has the diamond monopoly, not letting any individual country, that's why they invaded Ivory Coast, sell its own gold or diamonds. This is about Africa not being able to sell anything. Anything that the globalists don't control that's not sold through their cartels, invasion forces land within weeks and kill everybody. Blow up Capitol buildings. I remember in the late 90s, they had a big cover story in New Yorker magazine bragging about how De Beers, the world diamond monopoly, sends people to kill you. And the article was saying how great it was and how cute it was. And so that's what Angelina Jolie is. She is a haglet. And I really do find her unattractive. I find evil people unattractive, even if you could say they were aesthetically attractive. I found her very unattractive anytime I look at her. In fact, I have trouble looking at her. You could have some chubby old washerwoman, out there hanging clothes up, and if she's got a good soul, she's beautiful. But if you have got an ugly, demonic soul, I see you, and you are ugly as a dead, rotting carcass in the ditch. And I don't normally attack people for how they look, but she's all about vanity, so I hate her. I hate people that claim they're heroes and they're good and that they're helping people when they are a front for mass extermination and death. And that's why I went after her and called for her arrest. But of course, the UN is her boss. It's the arbiter of evil. It's not going to arrest itself. So here it is, and now Angelina Jolie is in court as ICC finds Congo warlord Thomas guilty of using child soldiers. So, in less than 7 days after they released this Kony pro-war film that was obviously war propaganda, obviously a nebulous target that can never be defeated, just like bin Laden, it's a new proxy war. They've already taken over Libya and wrecked that. They're trying to wreck everything else. Now they want to go into these other countries and just have a license to slaughter everybody. And right on time, all over the news, it's Angelina Jolie praising the ICC. And I told you, this is going to be about a big international criminal court rollout. And here is Angelina Jolie yesterday. Here she is last night talking about this. Oh, what we're doing is we're connecting our next guest on the line. We're about to add to the studio, so this doesn't happen every time we're lining a guest up via Skype, then I can't play a video. I'm not sure how that's happening, but we'll try to air that a little bit later here. Maybe when we do Skype, we'll get the guest on 10 minutes before, and then that way this doesn't happen every time we try to play a clip. Because not a big deal. I just didn't know I'd be able to come out of break and not play a clip here. Point is, the article is there and available for everybody. Angelina Jolie in court as ICC, is finding some more of these warlords supposedly guilty of things. And I'm not saying any of these guys are good or bad. The point is that it's all just a complete, oh my gosh, you're using child soldiers. You know how many kids are homeless there? I mean, that's gone on in every culture, using child soldiers. And the point is the globalists are openly trying to commit mass extermination and takeover of society across the board. And so this is the type of stuff that's happening and going on. And there it is. Now, they just say in the resolution, calls for, among other things, expanding the number of regional forces in Africa to protect civilians, period. Oh, U.S. forces to protect civilians against whoever isn't going along with the globalist. If you're going along with the globalist, you can murder millions, like the 26-year dictator of Uganda, who's a big guy that Angelina Jolie meets with and praises. But then if you're some little nobody that nobody's seen in 5-6 years, well, you'll be the poster child for all these countries thousands of miles away to be invaded, thousands of miles away. Here is Joe Lee posing as a savior and saying the people wanted the UN to come and arrest Thomas Lubanga. Here it is.
I think the most important thing, this is a very young court, it's a very new court. This particular case was about conscription of child soldiers, and so many witnesses, over 60 people came in, young people came in and spoke about what happened to them, and because they were unable to have a court proceedings in their country, so they asked for this, the victims asked for this, the country asked for this.
So the country asked for it, the victims asked for it. And here's a woman who runs around saying, invade Libya, it's humanitarian, when there was almost no humanitarian problems then, and a Western-backed guerrillas, Al-Qaeda, attacking, shooting rockets at government buildings, and they're like, oh, they're protesters, they're peaceful. And she's prancing around calling for war. I mean, it's disgusting. And now you're going to see Africa-wide invasion, and it'll be in the back of the newspaper, just like last year with the Ivory Coast UN invasion. The UN killed on record tens of thousands. Government forces, you name it, overthrowing that elected government and installing a bunch of killers to loot and wreck the country and steal their resources. So they want Africa destabilized. That's the official UN, Pentagon, State Department plan, and she's there to carry it out. All right, we're now into hour number 2, and we have Dr. Roman Yampolskiy on with us. He's written a big paper that got a lot of attention, was picked up by MSNBC and other publications. Control dangerous AI before it controls us, experts says. And the paper that he wrote is Leak-Proofing the Singularity, Artificial Intelligence Confinement Problem. And we're going to be covering that with him now. This is a short segment. He joins us via video Skype. Doctor, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Give us a little synopsis, then we're going to go to break and come back with a long segment of what your paper details and exactly your area of research that brought you to this.
Okay, so there is lots of progress happening in artificial intelligence. You probably heard about IBM's Watson program defeating Jeopardy champions and iPhone having Siri assistant and things of that nature. Lots of people predict that in the next probably 20, 30 years, AI will get to the point of being human level. There is almost no research going on in terms of security aspects of this problem. So I wrote a paper providing one possible solution, confining such technologies until we can study them better, understand how they can influence us. My general research is usually in biometrics, profiling humans, behavioral biometrics, so this was a very natural extension for me to go from profiling and dealing with security for humans to profiling programs and creating security solutions for programs.
My big concern is that DARPA is building this panopticon control grid, the Google predictive system where they're able to predict movements before they take place, obviously the crystal ball that they're searching for. My concern is the way they're building the architecture is perfect for AI to actually take over the system and surveil humans, kind of like the Terminator, where the machines hack in and take over Skynet. And I mean, that's the probability that I see taking place.
That is a big problem. Usually, military complex doesn't take into account security precautions. They just want to be first ones to get to that technology, to beat out China, to beat out Russia. So for them, it's more important to have the technology developed versus having it developed securely, safely.
Well, I notice they're also feeding into these AI systems human emotions, human activities. That's how they're trying to have the machines learn, and you're an expert on this. You're going to be able to break that down for us. So it looks like they may actually have some of the corrupt traits of humans. So I would add that to the probability that the machines might decide to dominate us or get rid of us so that they can be the dominant new life form and not want to compete with us if they've got a lot of human